are back with another episode of reacting to your football hot takes, and honestly man, filming this video, I feel really shitty, and let me tell you guys why. I feel like an absentee father. I've completely abandoned this series for the past 3 weeks, and as you guys know, this series is my baby. It's the only thing I'm ever leaving to my children is this series. I consider this series a child of mine. I fed it, I nurtured it, I brought it into this life, and I've completely neglected it for the past 3 weeks. It's like leaving a kid in the car for 3 weeks. What do you think is going to happen to that kid? They're probably going to die, right? Well, luckily this series is immortal, because if it wasn't, we'd be fucked right now. There would be no more reacting to your football hot takes because it would be dead because I neglected it as a shitty father. So I got to do a better job of being a dad and being there for this series, because this series has always been there for me. Okay? Oh my god. I have to get that off my chest, guys. I'm sorry. It's just, I don't like being a bad father, and I feel like I've been a bad father to this kid. And, you know, I'm back now. Daddy's home. Daddy's back, and he's gonna take care of you. So yeah, enough yapping. Let's get into the first take, because this series, I missed it a lot. Our first take in today's video, Maradona is so clear of Cristiano. No, I cannot agree with this take. This is just crazy to me, man. Because when you say so clear, you're acting like Maradona wipes the floor with Ronnie, and that to me is ludicrous. You might think this is ludicrous, but Tayo Cruz, tell me how you feel. Did you guys get that from the song? But anyway, Maradona, like acting like he's clear of Cristiano, to me is insane because, first of all, I want to say this. Both of these guys, in my opinion, are two of the three greatest players football's ever seen. In my top three, in the Me Know Ball top three, which by the way, is the official top three, if you really know ball, it goes like this. Number one is Messi. That should be everybody's number one. I don't care what country or club he supports. Messi is the greatest player of all time, and it's going to stay like that probably for the remainder of human history. I don't see anybody surpassing Messi as the GOAT of the sport. So Messi's number one. Number two, to me, is Cristiano. I think he's the second best player I've ever seen. And number three is Maradona. Now, your number three could be Pelé, it could be Cruyff, it could be Zidane, it could be, I don't know, pick your player, pick your favorite player. Eusebio, I don't give a fuck who it is. But the top two to me has to be, and everybody's top two, it should be Messi 1 and Ronaldo 2. And I think the gap between Messi and Ronaldo is smaller than the gap between Ronaldo and number 3. Okay? Because I don't understand this new wave of disrespecting Ronaldo. I know that sounds crazy coming from me, but it's just, I don't get it, man. Ronaldo... Here's the one thing that Maradona has over Cristiano, because he does have one thing. He has a better international legacy than Cristiano, because Maradona is one of the greatest, if not the greatest, international players of all time. When it comes to playing for his country, nobody did it quite as well as number 10 for Argentina. And obviously I'm talking about this number 10, the previous number 10, not Messi. This guy, we all know, won the World Cup in '86. People still talk about that shit to this day. Oh, Maradona in '86. Amazing, bro. He basically single-handedly carried Argentina to their second World Cup in their history. And we know the moments he had on that World Cup in Mexico. He had the hand of God, he had the goal of the century, he had the performance against Belgium in the semifinals, I'm pretty sure. In the final he didn't score, but he was fucking amazing. The guy was basically on crack. I mean, that sounds wrong because he was on drugs a lot, but I'm saying like figuratively on crack, and maybe actually on cocaine for that entire tournament, right? So he was amazing. And then 4 years later, he followed it up with making another final in 1990. And in that final, they lost to Germany. They beat Germany in '86, but then they lost to Germany in '90. And people say they got robbed in that final. So whatever, I don't know if they did or not, but if Argentina don't get robbed, like some people like to say, against Germany in that final, we could be sitting here talking about Argentina and Maradona having 2 World Cups. Or Maradona, sorry, having 2 World Cups. And that would be insane. But again, if you would have won 90 or not, it doesn't matter. He has a better international legacy than Cristiano just based on that World Cup in '86. Because Ronaldo, we know, despite being an all-time great, his international legacy is kind of underwhelming. He won the Euro for Portugal in 2016, their only international trophy to this day. But apart from that, especially in the World Cup, he's been very underwhelming. He's never even made a semifinal. So again, international legacy, it goes to Diego Armando Maradona, and to me, it's not even close. But your international legacy is only a small fraction, in my opinion, of your overall legacy. And I think Ronaldo, I mean, first of all, longevity goes to Ronaldo. Consistency goes to Ronaldo. People might disagree with this. I don't think they should. Peak, to me, goes to Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo has one of the best peaks I've ever seen, second behind Messi only. People forget. I'm fortunate, right? I'm so blessed because I got to watch all of Ronaldo's prime. And I know how good this guy was. I know how good he was. And you cannot convince me otherwise. I know, I watched it, bro. I understood how good this guy was. And I'm not trying to sit here and glaze a rival player, but you know what? Fuck it. I don't give a shit, man. This guy's the second best player of all time, in my opinion. I'm going to sit here and give him his credit because he deserves it. This guy he had better longevity, he had better consistency, and he had a better peak. I understand that Maradona, he dragged that Napoli team back from relegation and won them a European title and won them the Serie A. That's great. I mean, Ronaldo's peak is just better, man. It's just a better peak. And when it comes to on the pitch, I'm sure Maradona has a better YouTube compilation reel. It's more fun to watch him dribble and do all these tricks and skills because Maradona's highlights, man, if you watch him on YouTube, they're honestly better than Messi's. This guy on the ball was like Harry Houdini. Honestly, he put the ball, like he did a rainbow flick and then the ball went inside his shirt and then it came out the other end and then he swallowed the ball and it came out of his ass. I don't know what the fuck this guy was doing with the ball, but it was crazy, okay? And Ronaldo, if you look at his YouTube compilation videos, maybe they're not as aesthetically pleasing, but I just please understand this, man. If you guys, if you take one thing from my videos, please take this. This whole pure footballing shit is just shit. It's honestly just shit. There's more to football there's more to being a great player than just being a great dribbler. And Maradona was a better dribbler than Cristiano. There's been a lot of players in the history of football that are better dribblers than Cristiano Ronaldo, but none of them are better players except for Messi. So just because Maradona was more fun to watch with the ball at his feet, it does not mean he's the better player. Messi has that thing where he was an amazing playmaker, an amazing dribbler, and also an elite goal scorer. That's why like people talk about him and Cristiano. Maradona was an elite playmaker. He was an elite dribbler. He can't hold a candle to Cristiano Ronaldo's goal scoring numbers. This guy is one of the greatest goal scorers, if not the greatest goal scorer football's ever seen. And I think in every other aspect, apart from dribbling and playmaking, he's a far better player than Maradona. So for me, I think Maradona is an all-time great. Okay, I rate him very highly. But his longevity is not there, his consistency is not there. I think Ronaldo has a better peak. And I think Ronaldo, I mean, he did it in the biggest moments, bro. This guy in the UCL, you can't take that away from him, you know what I mean? Those moments in the UCL to win his team games, to win his team the biggest trophy in European football, they don't do it without him. There's also a guy who was in the Premier League and won a Ballon d'Or in the Premier League and won 3 straight Premier Leagues then, and then went to Juve and continued this goal scoring. Ronaldo was a top 3 player in the world, and I might be cutting it short here, but for at least 13 years. From 08 to like 21, bro. You could argue in 2021, while he was at Juve, he was still a top 3 player in the world. So again, Maradona is an all-time great. Again, I have him in my top 3. I don't want this to come off as a Maradona hate segment, but he is not clear of Cristiano. He's not ahead of Cristiano because Cristiano is actually, it's the opposite. Cristiano's clear of Maradona. And I know that sounds weird coming from me, a known Cristiano hater, but I just can't agree with this type of stuff when I see it. I just don't agree with it at all. Our next take, Simeone is the most overrated manager of all time. Cholo Simeone, man, people are really sharpening their knives for this guy after he lost to Barcelona and basically confirmed with that loss that he's not going to win a trophy for his 4th straight year at Atletico Madrid. They obviously won the league back in 21, but since then he hasn't won a single trophy, and his time there, and he's been there for a long time. He's only, I'm saying only, but he's won 2 league titles, which, you know, in a league with Barca Madrid is pretty impressive if you ask me. He's only won 1 Copa del Rey, I'm pretty sure, and he's never won the UCL despite making 2 UCL finals. So a lot of people are going back and, you know, reviewing his legacy at Atletico Madrid and talking about how this guy's really overrated. And I disagree. Because I remember Atletico Madrid before Cholo Simeone got there. I remember those teams. I remember those teams with Maxi Rodriguez. I remember those teams with Diego Forlan. I remember those teams with Raul Garcia. I remember those teams with Kun Agüero. I remember that year back in 09 where they finished 9th in the league. I remember those teams because I've been watching Spanish football for that long. And Atletico Madrid was an afterthought in Spanish football, an afterthought in Europe, honestly. Nobody before Cholo Simeone got there ever thought of Atletico Madrid as a threat in European football or Spanish football, okay? They were not a joke, but they weren't a known team. And now everybody knows who they are because of Cholo Simeone. He brought them to relevancy, and that to me is amazing. He made Spanish football into a real top 3. There's a big 3 in Spanish football, and that is because of Cholo Simeone. Before he got there, there wasn't a top 3. There wasn't a big 3. And if there was, it was Athletic Club. It wasn't, or Valencia back in the day when they were actually good. It wasn't Atletico Madrid. And now because of him, they're part of that top 3, and they can attract some of the best players in European football, like Julian Alvarez, like Antoine Griezmann. You know, it's because of Cholo Simeone. It's because of Cholo Simeone that they've been able to do that. So he's instilled a culture in that club, and he's done so much for them, man. I don't want to see he's overrated because not everybody's going to be Ancelotti. Not everybody's going to be Pep. Not everybody's going to be Jose Mourinho. Not everybody's going to be those guys, okay? Not everybody's going to be Vicente del Bosque. Sometimes, you know, there's people like Cholo Simeone who make 2 UCL finals and lose both of them to historic teams, to better teams than he had. That 2014 La Decima team, they were 30 seconds away from winning it. And then Sergio Ramos came up big. And then they lost some penalties. I mean, can you blame the guy? He's not losing to fucking Monaco. He's not losing to Porto. He's losing to Real Madrid in these finals. He's losing league titles to Barcelona and Real Madrid. The 2 best teams in Europe over the past, 15 years, bro? So I can't sit here and be like, oh, this guy hasn't won a Champions League, he's underachieved. There's nuance to this, man. You gotta respect what this guy's done. You gotta respect what he's done. And again, do I like his style of football? Do I agree with every decision he makes? No. But when I look at his legacy at Atletico Madrid and what he's done for that club, again, I'm old enough to remember how bad they were before he got there. I remember those teams very vividly. And to see what they became after he got there, and the legacy is going to leave, when he eventually leaves, because we know he's not going to be there forever, whether he leaves this summer or next summer, whenever he leaves, it's night and day, man. And Atletico Madrid are going to be in great hands from here until the rest of their history because of that one guy in Cholo Simeone, who again, just basically brought them back to relevancy. They were good in the 70s, they made a UCL final and they lost to Gerd Muller and Franz Beckenbauer's Bayern Munich. But post that, Atletico Madrid again, nobody even thought about them. And he got there and obviously did all those things I said. So for me, Cholo Simeone is not overrated. I think he's just been unfortunate to be. He was in the league in the same era as the two best players of all time, and that coincided with the two greatest eras of Atletico of Barca and Real Madrid. And he couldn't win a UCL, and he could only win, and he still managed to win 2 league titles. That to me is pretty impressive. I don't think he's overrated at all. Our next take, Yildiz is the second best wonder kid right now after Lamine Yamal. I think Yildiz is amazing. I think he's a really, really good player. But the thing with Yildiz is, to me, or at least when I watch Juve, he's very inconsistent. Some games I watch Yildiz, or I watch Juve, and Yildiz is everywhere on the pitch. He's making so many things happen. He has such an impact on the game. And then other games I watch Juve, and I forget Yildiz is playing, which is not great. To be in the same category as Lamine Yamal, you have to be impactful every single game, because Lamine Yamal, apart from a few games here and there, you know he's on the pitch. And for me, Yildiz, again, maybe I don't watch enough Juve, but when I have, there's too many games where he comes and goes. And again, if you're a Juve fan, maybe you could correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just pulling that out of my ass. But again, from what I've watched of Juve this year, and I've watched a good amount of them, he just comes and goes. But again, when he's on, he's fucking amazing. But to me, after Lamine Yamal, obviously Yildiz is not conversation. His national team teammate and Arda Güler doesn't get enough playing time, but you could throw him in that conversation as well. Endrick is having a really, really good season for Real Madrid. I think Joao Neves has to be in that conversation because he's so good. Desiree Doué is amazing. Bradley Barcola, all these youngsters for PSG are fucking insane. Pau Cubarsí, honestly, I think he deserves more respect because the guy's only, 18 years old, and he's already one of the best center backs in Europe. So I think Pau Cubarsí has to be in that conversation. I would say Kobe Mainoo, but he's not having the same year that he was last year, so he's kind of fallen off a bit. But then, yeah, like I said, there's a lot of great youngsters in world football right now. There's a lot of them that I'm forgetting. You know, Bellingham is only 21. Do you want to consider him a youngster? Is Pedri a youngster still? Maybe you mean under 20. And in that case, I mean, I get it. But I think Yildiz is great, is my point. But to say he's second right now, I think he's got to be a little bit more consistent for me to put him at second. But I think this guy in no time is going to be one of the best players in Italian football if he's not already. Our next take: the Prem is overrated and is more of a farmers league than Ligue 1. No, people don't understand what a farmers league is. A farmers league means it's not really competitive. And the Premier League, again, this season has been shit. It's a competitive league. It's a very competitive league. I understand Man City have won all these titles the past 5 years, but they've been in the title race basically every single year. Ligue 1, it's basically wrapped up already, and it's only April. And again, I understand the Premier League is too, because Liverpool are going to win it, but that's the outlier for the Prem. This is the norm for Ligue 1. The norm for Ligue 1 is PSG win the league by basically February, and they're just playing for the UCL or the Coupe de France. That's really the way it works in Ligue 1. And the teams are just not good enough, man. The Prem has so much quality, bro. There's so much quality in the Prem, it's impossible to call it a farmers league. It's just not a farmers league at all. I reject the idea entirely that the Premier League is a farmers league. Bundesliga was a farmers league historically when Bayern were dominating it, okay? But that's because one team was dominating every single season. And they were winning these titles with fucking weeks to spare, months to spare. You know, like, nobody ever called La Liga in its day a farmers league because, while yes, Barca and Madrid were winning all the titles, it was competitive. There was a title race basically every single year. And I understand, again, this year it's kind of the outlier for the Prem when there's not a title race and the quality is kind of fallen. Even the relegation battle isn't really great. But it's just not it's just like, man, when you look at teams like Nottingham Forest and what they've done this year, I mean, you're not gonna, like, yeah, that happens every now and then in Ligue 1, but it's just not the same. Now, Ligue 1 has a lot of quality. Some of the best youngsters in the world, you'll find them at these mid-table Ligue 1 teams because honestly, they have so much of it. France produce quality out of their ass when it comes to like football talent. But again, when it comes to a league, I don't think the Prem is overrated. I just don't think it is. I think if you look at the UCL finals over the past few years, apart from last year, I mean, if you look at 2023, it was Man City who were in the final. When you look at 2022, or like obviously Liverpool, I mean, the Prem has had Chelsea, the Prem has had all these teams make UCL finals over the past couple years. Back in 2019, we had a Tottenham Liverpool UCL final. So again, Ligue 1, they've never, like, when was the last time they had a team in the UCL final? Like, come on, bro. It's just the Prem is not a farmers league. I reject this idea entirely. Now, again, it's not having their best. They're not having their best year in terms of like a title race and competitiveness. But most years, it's really not like that. This is just the outlier. And I don't think because of 1 year, we can call it a Farmers League, say it's overrated and it's overrated and League On is better. No, that's insane to me. Our next take, if Barcelona win the treble this year, it'll be the greatest comeback from a soccer team and club of all time. Yes, we said soccer, okay? Okay, British people, don't get pissed off. Oh, you bloody cunt, why are you saying soccer? Bro, people have different words for it in different countries, okay? You don't own the sport. We can call it whatever we want. And me and Jesus stand by calling it soccer, so fuck you. Anyway, after all the lows that the team and the club ended at last season, to go from that to a treble would be unparalleled and historic. Oh my God, I agree so much, man. That's what makes it so sweet. That's what makes the season so sweet as a Barca fan, bro. Because what we went through last year, I mean, you guys, obviously, it's on the record for me. I basically did a match review after every game last season. You guys know, if you watched my channel last season, how down I was with this team and how disappointed I was, and how after every match, how in every match review, I was so sad and just distraught and just, I was uninspired watching my team play. And I hated feeling that way, man. Because I felt like Barca had quality, but we just couldn't put anything together. The games were uninspiring, the results weren't there, the morale seemed low for the team. And to watch this beautiful German man come in one summer and turn the team around like that, bro, with one signing in Dani Olmo who barely plays. I mean, it's basically the same team. And what he's done, it's honestly nothing short of remarkable. Last season we went trophyless and we got embarrassed by our biggest rivals multiple times. We got embarrassed by them. And this season, we're the ones embarrassing them. We're beating them 5-2 in the Super Cup final. We're beating them 4-0 in the Santiago Bernabeu. We're the favorites to win the Copa del Rey against them. It's amazing, bro. To see Barca in the UCL this season go behind and not choke. To see Barca this season actually come out in these games with some intensity, with some fucking pride for the badge. It's amazing to watch, man. And again, this team went trophyless last year. And this season, they've already won a trophy. They're going to win more because Barca are not going to finish the season with no trophies. They're going to win either the Copa del Rey, de la Liga, or the UCL, or maybe all three. To see this turnaround, bro, I think that's what makes us Barca fans so happy. Because, you know, it's like going from a fucking Honda Civic and then next month you're driving a Ferrari. It makes it so much more sweet than if you were driving a Lamborghini and you upgraded to a Ferrari. I mean, that's cool, but it's not, it doesn't feel the same, bro. It's like we went from this to this all because of one guy. And honestly, I cannot be happier, man. I cannot be happier. And yes, I agree, it would be one of the greatest comebacks from a soccer club of all time. Because people forget that Barca, while yes, won the league title under Xavi, post-Messi, and even when Messi was there, it's been dark for the team, man. It's been really, really dark. It has not been all ups. It's been a lot of downs, man. It's been a lot of years when I'm not going to say I've questioned supporting this team because that's never crossed my mind ever in my fucking life. I will always support this team. But I've been like, dude, do I want to watch this game today? And that's never been the case with me, bro. Like, I never question whether I want to watch a Barca game or not. I never do. But it was happening at some points last year. I was like, do I really want to sit down and watch this shit? And now I look forward again to watching my team play. For my whole life, watching Barca was the best part of my week. It was always the best part of my week. No matter what was going on in my life, I could look forward to watching my team play. And I know that's something that a lot of people resonate with. You know, football's kind of our escape. But then it got to a point with Barca where football was not my escape. I wanted to escape from Barca. Like, I wanted to do real life things so I could escape from my football team. You know what I mean? So that's the point where it got to, for me last season, it got to that point. And again, I'm being a little bit dramatic there, but you get what I'm saying. I know I went on this whole fucking spiel, inspirational. Bro thinks he's like David Goggins. But anyway, my point is, I'm just super happy, man. I'm super happy to see the turnaround. And again, these are with like players that we had last year that we just didn't know had this potential in them. We all knew Inigo Martinez was good, but we all thought he was a squad player. And to see him do this now, Rafinha, insane. Lewandowski and what he's doing this season after being a year older. I mean, the leap that Kunde was always amazing, but the leap that he's taken, Balde, and to see what he's doing, Pedri this year has been unlocked. It's amazing, man. And I agree with you, man. If they win the treble this year, it'll be an insane turnaround because to go from trophyless and from what we saw last year to this, it's night and day. It's honestly night and day. Our next take, Inigo Martinez has been the best defender in world football this season. Not only his defensive abilities, but the heart he's shown has been truly amazing. I agree. And I have to apologize to Inigo Martinez because I was wrong about him. In the first match review I did this season in the game against Valencia, I sat here and I said, Inigo Martinez is not good enough to be a Barca starter. I said that. Like a fucking moron, I sat here and said that. Okay? And I was so wrong about that. I've never been more wrong about anything in my life. Maybe I have, but I'm saying, like, obviously for the purpose of the video and being dramatic, I'm going to say I've never been more wrong about anything in my life. I've never been more wrong about anything in my life than not take about Inigo Martinez, because this guy has been, I'm ready to say it, the best center back in football this year. Who's been better than him? I mean, I understand that Gabriel, before he got injured, and speedy recovery to him, he's going to be out for the rest of the season, which you hate to see, but Gabriel was playing amazing. Saliba, we know how fantastic he is. Bastoni and the guys at Inter are great, okay? Van Dijk is having an amazing season, okay? There's been a lot of great center backs in football this year. None of them have been better than Inigo Martinez, who's been the best defender on the best team in football this season. He has been that. He's been better than Kuwarsi, in my opinion. I think Kuwarsi's been great, but he's been better than him. He sent Araujo to the bench. We never thought that was possible, but he sent Araujo to the bench. I mean, he's honestly been... He's been so underrated for this team, and I don't think people who watch Barca, people who don't watch Barca, sorry, I don't think they realize the impact this guy's had on that club this season. It's honestly been amazing, and everybody knew. I mean, Inigo was good last year, coming off the bench for us, and he had good moments. But this year, man, he's been a starter every time he's healthy, and he hasn't put a foot wrong. He's been scoring goals, he's been assisting. The guy's honestly been insane. He's been so good this year, so I'm glad he's getting the credit he deserves. I'm glad he's finally getting the praise he warrants, because, like this guy points out, he's been the best defender in world football this season. I don't think this is a hot take. People might look at the name and be like, there's no way Inigo Martinez can have the title of best defender in the world this season. He can, because he does. Our next take, Barcelona will win the 6th UCL, but lose both La Liga and Copa del Rey by the end of the season. Here's the thing about Barca, and I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, but when Barca are bad, they're really fucking bad. The seasons that Barca don't perform well, they're shit. But when Barca are good, like they are this year, they're really good. And history backs me up on that, because every single time Barca won the UCL, all 5 times, they also won the league that same year. 92, 06, 09, 2011, 2015. All 5 of those years, you can go look at it, Barca won the UCL and also won the league. So, and in 09 and 2015, they also won the Copa del Rey, so they won the treble. So, I disagree with this, because Barca are not like Real Madrid when, like Real Madrid back in 2017, 2018. Didn't win the Copa del Rey, finished 3rd in La Liga with 76 points. For context, by the way, Barca won that league with 93. So they nearly finished 20 points off the league leaders, but they still won the UCL in Kiev against Liverpool. Barca don't really operate that way. Barca can't have a shitty league season and then go on and win the UCL. They're not like Madrid in that sense. If Barca are good, they're really good. Like, they're winning basically everything. Now, when they're not good, we have a situation like last season where they're fucking shit. But when a Barca team is clicking like this one is, more likely than not, they're going to win another trophy to go along with the UCL. If Barca win the UCL, another trophy is coming along with it. They're not just winning the UCL. So I disagree with this take, because I think that Barca are gonna win it all. Are gonna win it all this year. Our next take, Arne Slot is actually an overrated manager. I don't think Arne Slot is overrated, but I think that maybe some people overrated him a little bit, if that makes sense. I don't think he should be called overrated by the masses, but I think some people, including me maybe, overrated him at the start of the year and midway through the season when Liverpool were having this great run. I think in these games against Newcastle in the FA Cup final and the 2 legs against PSG, when Mohamed Salah wasn't really playing his best, obviously their best player of the season and one of the best players in the world, if not the best, when Mo wasn't at that level, he got totally outcoached by Eddie Howe and by Luis Enrique. Totally outcoached. And that's not something that you really see with the top level managers, them getting outcoached that badly, and it happened with Arne Slot. So maybe, when we saw him come into Liverpool and get them first place in the league phase and they're going to win the league, I mean, you can't be overrated and win the Premier League, in my opinion, okay? You cannot be overrated and win the Premier League in the fashion that Liverpool are going to do it, which is just a dominant Premier League season. But again, when it comes to the UCL and the EFL Cup, when Mo Salah wasn't at that level, we saw that he maybe isn't the tactically sharpest at times, and his decision making can be kind of kind of slow. He's not as proactive as you want him to be. But again, to just say he's overrated after and he's going to win the Premier League this year, that to me is kind of crazy. And our final take, hating on somebody for supporting a club is beyond stupid and doesn't represent football. There's nothing wrong with saying you support Madrid or Barca rather than supporting Al Sheikh or Dundee FC. Yes, here's the thing that I've noticed, bro. When you tell somebody you support Barca or Madrid, they act like you're a trust fund kid. They literally act like you came from like billions of dollars of wealth. It's like, bro, we get nothing for supporting Barca or Madrid apart from seeing them lift the trophy. We don't get generational wealth. We're not born into a royal family for supporting Barca or Madrid. And there's nothing wrong with supporting these clubs. I've said it multiple times. I'm going to say it again because this to me is an important point. There's nothing wrong with supporting a big team. Don't let anybody ever shame you to thinking there's something wrong with supporting a big team. Support the team that you want to support. If you want to support Al Sheikh or Dundee FC and they make you happy, fucking support them. But again, people, like a lot of times football fans act like if you support a small team, it's like you got it out the mud. You know how everybody has this obsession nowadays with getting it out the mud? I don't come from money. I slept in cardboard boxes and now I'm a billionaire. Everybody wants to be the next Jay-Z. Most people aren't Jay-Z. Most people aren't selling crack and then marrying a fucking super, like, international pop star, okay? Most people grow up middle class and then they get a nice job and they get a nice they make six figures at some point in their career. That's normal life for most people. So I don't know where this tangent went off, but my point is, you don't always have to get it out the mud. But yeah, man, that's the end of the video. I love every single one of you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. And yeah, man, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.